And, yeah. Just go ahead and click that.
Blam.
Get rid of that.
This is what I know. All right.
There we go.
We don't have half our players at 3 points because we had a tie.
We did have one tie after round 1, which was Chris and Lyle. So I can't even imagine the fun that they had.
Because Chris is on his black-white Eldrazi and Taxes list.
Yep.
And it's got so much mainboard hate that I can only imagine. Just like, I played him last week and got super lucky. But our 3-pointers.
Yeah, we got Julia sitting at the top.
She's
playing the cheaters deck.
Playing the cheaters deck.
Playing the cheaters deck. Having fun, I guess, you know. Frank, new for season 2.
Yeah, he's been traveling around, been super busy for season 2. We haven't seen him since season 1. But it's cool him come back and just be like, hey guys, don't forget I have this awesomely fun deck that you all are going to hate.
Yeah.
Because he was rocking Zoo, or the Naya Blitz style, I think, with the burning trees and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Chris Bauer, also from a hiatus, IRL getting in the way.
Yep, it happens.
Finally able to come out and play some, so super excited to see Chris back. John, see him picking up 3 points there in round 1. Kyle, TJ, and Jeremy with 3 points as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not to count anyone out, but Keenan, Derek, Lucas, Devin, Dwayne, Eric, Ben, and Patrick. Not able to grab a win that first round, but
not round 1.
The night is young.
It is.
The night is young. So let's just hop in round 2.
Cool. Let's do it. Pew, pew. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We were just talking about him.
Everyone's favorite matchup. Infect versus Zoo. I know it says burn there. It's because I'm bad at my job.
Oh, I forgot Julia's on camera again. Yay!
Get those votes in, guys. We always throw up a straw poll just to see what everyone's feeling for their picks. What do you think here? Infect, Zoo,
heart or head pick?
Definitely your heart pick.
Infect, all the way.
All right. Oh, I meant head pick.
Oh.
So is it Zoo?
So it's Zoo.
Okay. Zoo it is.
And it words and stuff. So I played against Julia last week, and we talked a little bit. We did some practice games and everything. She's still working on her sideboard.
Okay.
And I was like a big pusher of certain life gain cards for the sideboard for Infect. And you'll see this kind of across the board from a lot of Infect players right now, is the Kitchen Finks being a big part of it. And then, of course, Pulse Marasa has been one that I've been a big fan of. I think you can get by maybe with just one of. I like 2 right now, but some people like a variation. I think with the way the meta is shaping up, 1 is a safe way to go. If your meta has more burn, more Zoo, more Jund, then run 2. You're just going to have to judge your meta and what you're going with. Also, the way her list is set up is more all-in.
Okay. Which seems to be the norm.
Seems to be a norm for a lot of the way the rest of the world is going for it. I still like my style personally. It is kind of a in between the all-in style. It's got that burst damage that I can sit here and kill you on turn 2. But it also has that staying power that I can play the long game and just like chip away 1 here, 1 there, get you.
Gotcha.
So we'll have to see though.
Yeah.
How things work out. Now,
Frank immediately.
Yeah, not happy
with
with
this. Not a fan of that.
So we talked a little bit about Infect. Why don't you talk to us about what this sort of Naya Zoo list, rough idea, like what a Zoo list, what entails a Zoo list, like what makes it a Zoo list?
Oh, sure. I mean, when you go to a zoo, you expect
animals.
There you go. Perfect. This is why you're here. Yeah, you expect animals. So the zoo lists, if you're new to Modern, if you're new to Magic, when you hear the term zoo, you expect creatures, right?
Yeah.
Just low to the ground, low cost creatures. Oh, Frank going to 5. Not a fan. So basically, you're going to see creatures like the Wild Nakatl. You're going to see Goblin Guide. You're going to see, in Frank's list, you'll see Burning Tree Emissary. I think he also runs...
The Reckless Bushwhacker.
Yes, the Reckless Bushwhacker, so he can get that Curd Ape. So basically, like I said, it's just low to the ground creatures. Pump them up, whether I think a lot of them get pumped up by the base of the lands that you currently have out. If you have plains, if you have forests, mountains, whichever. Frank going to 5, so hopefully he can keep something. And then it runs a few statins of burn spells for removal, and then also to get your opponent down.
Tarkar's Command.
Yeah, Tarkar's Command is a big one there. He's going to scry.
I remember at one point somebody had said...
On the bottom.
Not Wild Nakatl does not a zoo make. Because a single cat does not make a zoo, right? You have to have, like, the apes, and you have to have all these other animals in there to make a zoo. So I just thought that was a little funny. And, of course, Julia lands in the back. No, she's always team lands in front. So Breeding Pool is up there in the front for Glistener Elf back in the back. Then we've got a Temple Garden for Frank and a Wild Nakatl coming down. Promo version, I believe. Or at least a foil version.
Gitaxian Pro paying 2 life. She says, well, what's in the box?
Let's get a gander. There's Tarkar's Command, Curd Ape, Reckless Bushwhacker, and
Bloodstained Mire.
Mm-hmm. 1 land in there.
So 1 more land. Tarkar's Command's going to get turned on there.
Alright, so she's going to take a gander, knocking out that lovely blue boogie board. So,
I definitely want to take the Reckless Bushwhacker here.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not how the Gitaxian
That's
Pro
not how that works.
Oh.
So, knowing that you're playing Zoo officially now,
yeah,
you have to hope that you can get Blighted Agent, Ink Moth, or one of your ways to make your guy evasive.
Yep.
Distortion Strike, Apostle's Blessing. Things like that to basically guarantee that you can get that damage in. And the way Julia's just kind of flinging her life around...
I mean, I'm just saying.
She's got to have some way to do that, I feel.
Julia says, life is nothing but a resource to me at this point, which is completely new, right? I feel like it's a newer concept for her. It is. You know, coming from the control background, loves Jeskai Mirror.
She does. She is... Like, most
she's
people
a masochist.
I hate mirror matchups, and especially control mirror. There it is. Distortion Strike. Boom. Okay.
+1/+0 to my Glistener Elf.
And
give it unblockable. And oh, by the way, I can rebound this on my next upkeep.
Might. No, Groundswell. Okay.
Groundswell.
Still gets +4.
Landfall trigger. So 6 damage.
6. Mutagenic. 6, 7, 8. Give me another one. Give me another one.
8 damage.
Alright. Nice. I'm giving us the rundown of how much damage was taken there, and it would be so nice when we get the other dice, but that is alright. This is Devon Levant. And really, Frank has to hope that he drew a lightning bolt here.
Well, yeah.
That's the or Path to Exile. Not sure if he runs it in the main, but nope. Looks like does not draw anything. Knowing that he's already at 8, that Distortion Strike will give a +1 again to that elf, making the elf deal 2 damage. So that was turn number 2 for Julia, where she essentially got him down and out.
Do we have to count that, right, as a turn 2 kill?
Yes. Yeah. So maybe for season 3, when the bingo boards are up, that's might be something for everybody. So I stole the idea from the boss, which has been done before for other events and things like that. But I saw him tweeting up about for GP Richmond and stuff. They were going to do bingo boards for camera. Well, we're going to do the same thing for Season 3, but it's going to be for the entire Season 3, not just the week 1 kind of thing. And we have... I think we need 24 spots because there's free space. Everybody gets free space.
Everyone gets a free space.
But I think we've got about 10 or 11 right now written up. So we're trying to get a variety of questions and things.
Every day I'm listening.
So who would you like to read off?
Yeah, I'll take Frank's.
Okay.
I like Frank. I don't dislike Julia.
Yes, you
so,
do. That's what I heard. I hate Julia. I just want to...
So on Frank's side, he's got 2 Core Firewalker, 4 Destructive Revelry.
Oh my gosh.
2 Malira, Sylvic Outcast, 3 Path to Exile, 2 Sudden Shock, and 2 Become Immense. My head picks are your 2 Maliras instantly, your 3 Path to Exiles, and your 2 Sudden Shocks.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with all of those in Frank's list.
That's real rude, and yeah.
I feel like maybe he probably play tested it against a lot of Infect, and now he's bringing all the hate. You know what? I feel like an Affinity player right now. I see Malira and Sudden Shocks, and I just feel like I'm really getting hated on.
Like, how often do you actually play against Infect that you need all of that in your sideboard?
Main board Malira? Get out of here.
So, on Julia's side, like we were talking about, her board is not complete as of right now. She's still looking at stuff, still trying to get locked down of where she wants to be at. But 1 Slip Through Space, 2 Viridian Corruptor, 2 Corrosion Grip, 1 Dispel, 1 Sylvan Scrying. Yeah!
Did you talk her into that?
No! She had that in her list when she showed me.
All I'm saying, dude, is when I wrote this up, I went, I wonder who she's getting her Infect advice from.
So, as it stands, Slip Through Space, I want to see come in.
Yep.
And maybe the Dispel. For sure, you can get away with just a Slip Through Space, though. Because the objective of the Zoo deck is to go wide, and it's going to have a bunch of creatures all over the battlefield. Right. And it makes it very difficult for Julia to sneak in that damage and just sort of like, bam, got you.
So providing her with that evasive spell.
Yes, it allows her to sneak in. That, of course, gives a creature unblockable, and you get to draw a card for 1 blue. The Dispel, I like the idea of that coming in because Tarkar's Command is instant speed. Mm-hmm. Lightning Bolt's instant speed. Mm-hmm. You also have the potential to face other stuff. Like, if he's not running Path in the main board, there's a good chance it's in the sideboard. So it's something that you have to consider. So just as her list stands, those 2. Now, if she was running the life gain stuff, this would be the perfect time to bring it in.
Definitely.
So these are the matchups where you want to see those Kitchen Finks coming in, the Pulse of Marasas coming in. I used to run Wall of Roots for a little bit just to help me get another blocker in these sort of matchups and stuff like that. But
how'd that work out for you?
Pretty good when I would play it, but then it would not be as beneficial in other matchups, so I've since shaved it off. Julia not happy with hers, will be going down to 6. Frank kind of in that debating period now.
Can I kill you or your creatures? Mm-hmm. That's really what Frank needs to worry about. Sticking creatures, yes, but getting some of those sideboard cards that we saw out of his list, I think, is first and foremost. Nothing hurts more when I keep a hand of like 2 Infect creatures and he's got Sudden Shock.
I know all about the pain when I lost round 1 to Storm, where it's like, alright, I had Relic of Progenitus, like 2 creatures, Dispel, and like 2 lands or something like that. And I think the only pump spell I got was 1 Binds. Oh. By the time I died, I'm like turn 8 or something like that. Sometimes that happens.
Frank looks like he's probably going to keep. Julia going to scry.
Will be keeping.
Oh no. Oh no, she did not keep. She said,
she's just like,
forget this noise.
She probably was sitting there going, all right, I'm not going to keep. Let me just like Some people like to do that whole peek thing after they've decided.
I never look.
I never look either. I mean, some people do though. They're like, you know what? Could I have been able to keep this hand? The way I see it, like if you're in that debating period and him and hawing about it, it's probably better to send it away. I feel sometimes you can risk it depending on what's in your hand, and you're like, you know what? Knowing the deck I'm playing now, I'm gonna try to just sneak it and just we'll see if we can make it work. Oh, we're on that pile shuffle thing. All right, so Tatchatomus making a statement in chat. Let me pile shuffle to give myself the illusion that I'm randomizing my cards. Yes.
Everyone at home, if you're in the chat,
actually, I was talking to.
Let me know.
Okay, so I was talking to Chris, and he wants to set up an experiment and record it. Carosa.
Oh, okay.
That he's gonna have the decks, and he's going to lay them out, basically like we would if we did a deck tech. Boom, 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 and then put it all together, and try to do the pile shuffle. X amount of times, see how it works, or do the riffle shuffle X amount of times, see which one comes up more random and stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
And I was like, I support that. I would love to get down this experiment, but like it doesn't randomize it as well. But that I guess you'd have to do it a whole bunch of times maybe, or like there's different things you can maybe potentially do to it. I just like it because it makes me feel better.
Sure.
I don't care if it works or not. Half of my mindset is my deck has bad juju or not.
Oh yeah.
So
if you guys didn't know, Nam can't play it without it being completely foiled.
No.
Any deck.
No. So my Infect deck, everything but the lands are foil in it. And if I adjust my sideboard stuff, and
it's gotta be foil.
It's gotta be foil because I feel like, you know what? The whole deck's foil except for that one card. It's gonna mess up my deck, and it's gonna be all. It's a placebo. It is. Eat this sugar pill.
Bloodstained Mire into a stomping ground shows an experiment 1 passes back.
Noble Hierarch this time.
Forest. Give me Glistener Elf.
I mean, that would be the optimal thing here, but I don't feel like she has it. Oh man, Brett's like 5 for 5 tonight.
If anyone's got the in on what the lottery numbers are,
it'll be Brett.
Or like 5 or 6. What's going on, Bobby? How are things?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, going to 14.
I mean, this is another thing that I've seen some Infect players run a thing in the ice in the sideboard.
What?
Yes. It's a very rare thing. But it's like that, here's my wall, and here's all my pump spells that I'm playing. I'm playing them now on my thing in the ice that now becomes a giant guy that bounces all your stuff, and I kill you. Because everyone, when they sit down after game 1, they're like, Infect, fat, shock, don't care about my life.
This is fine.
And then they die. So it is another thing that Julia could potentially start running in the future.
Actually, here's another experiment 1 for Frank. During Worlds, Owen Turnwald showed up for a deck tech for Modern, right?
Yeah.
And he played Infect.
Yes.
All right. And he's
the only one on Infect, I believe.
Only one on Infect. There was only one.
And I think only one Affinity player too. But anyway.
Experiment 1 getting in there for 1.
Julie gonna. But yeah, so he showed up for the deck tech.
Shows up for the deck tech, and he talks about Dryad Arbor. And Dryad Arbor has always been kind of like that hitching point for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I play it? Do I not play it? Wow, 2 Path to Exile. That looks to be... That's the worm that gives blood rush for a creature in a wild Nakatl. Let's take that...
It's like an ogre.
Let's take that worm.
It's not a worm, it's an ogre.
Is it an ogre? That's not an ogre.
It's maybe Cyclops. It's not a worm.
Yeah, that's...
That is not a worm.
Yes, it is.
No. What is it called again?
It gives blood rush. That's
it does, and it gives it like +4.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So he's talking about the Dryad Arbor in the main, and he says, you know what is so good is when I face a Death Shadow player
Yeah.
And I just fetch for a Dryad Arbor. They go down to 7, and then I just become amends my Dryad Arbor and kill them.
Yeah, so this is another thing. Dryad Arbor is good in a 24-man meta where 8 of them are absent. Like, depending on what the meta shaped up, if you're playing and there's a lot of Death Shadow, there's a lot of Jund, there's a lot of Abzan decks running around where you're going to be facing that Lily, you're going to be facing, like, those gross creatures coming at you for so much damage, then Dryad Arbor is great. I think that all Infect lists should have it at least at least in their sideboard. Oh, here we go. It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's a beast. But look, he looks like he could be like an ogre or could be like a Cyclops guy.
No, he's got like 7 horns, dude. Just
so why can't ogres can have horns?
Here's a wild card.
The important stuff are talked about here, guys, on Modern Magic Monday.
Honestly, really, it's just I like to argue with man.
So 1 point or 2 points of damage, we'll say, came across here of Infect during this whole discussion. But we got to see a Wild Nakano, which Evolve trigger goes off. Yeah, I think it's a good sideboard. I wouldn't want to use it in the main Orzhov Pontiff, Pyroclasm, etc. All cards. Stone, like the other thing is you don't want it in your opening hand. Dryad Arbor?
True.
You never want it in your opening hand.
True.
As an Infect player. Because you want to play your creatures on that turn 1 and stuff
Sadness
like that.
on the stat.
Yes.
I have to keep this. So, Lightning Bolt hits the Noble Hierarch. Frank gets in 4/4.
Mm-hmm. And then Julia will fetch on the end step, get a breeding pool.
There's the math. I was like, yeah, 4. That's it.
Okay. Bolt got used. There's still 2 paths in hand, but Frank did not keep his mana up to cast them.
He did not.
Opted more for the, I need to deal some damage to you.
So it's the hope and pray you don't have an evasive spell.
Yes.
Because he does have the Nakano to block.
Alright, so there's 3 cards in Julia's graveyard. You need 5 to cast Become Immense. 5 in the graveyard and 1 green.
Or 6 mana.
Or 6 mana.
Whichever you prefer.
Which, to each their own.
If you're a masochist and decide you want to cast everything with mana, by all
hard
means.
Cast everything.
By all means.
Looks like, pass turn. Now, this can also kind of give indication I don't have a way to make my guy really big right now that I want to waste killing your Nakano.
Yeah.
But it's quite possible she has a Vines to protect it against Path. Rancor.
Targeting Wild Nakano.
Giving it +2, +0, and Trample.
Oh.
9 damage coming across. She says, yeah. I accept your 9 damage.
9 damage. Draw.
Alright, so if she has Vines here, she can protect herself. Apostle's Blessing also works, but brings her to 1. And so she's at a really awkward spot because Mutagenic is a really good way to help seal the deal.
Sure.
But
It
she's at
costs life.
3.
Yeah.
You basically are paying 2 life to use it.
Again, unless you want to hard cast it with mana, then
You
by
can.
all means, go for it.
You can.
But if you're playing Infect, you want to cheat. Right?
Cheat out those cards.
Yeah. That's why you use your life as a resource.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the energy, right?
Yeah.
Out of Kaladesh, right?
Oh, there's some cool stuff in that set so far.
Here is Mutagenic Growth.
Going to 1.
Going to 1.
But
And...
Okay. 2, 3,
Just
6,
kidding.
7, 8, 9.
Path. Vines kicked. So 3, 7.
Puts him, I believe, to 1. Alright, so if she has to become immense and she says vines here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would be enough to kill him. So if she says vines to protect it and then become immense, she
Become
wins.
immense for 6. That's the play.
That's the only way that she can win in this situation.
We know what's happening. She's just deciding if she wants to kick it to give it +4/+4. No. Okay, so...
Show me the become immense.
Yeah. Goes to the graveyard.
Show me the become immense.
Combat. And...
Come on, Julia.
Looks
Come
like
on.
looks like the judge may be resolving, just making sure that everything is correct.
She has it. She has it.
Just delve them away.
Yes.
It's
Yes!
happening. Become immense. Frank says, "Yeah, you were at 1. I got you to 1. Well played. Well played, Julia. Congrats.
Indeed.
Taking that series 2-0. Infect.
Become immense.
It's definitely going to get the banhammer.
No!
Depends on Death Shadow.
It does.
It depends on Death Shadow.
Yeah.
You know? Everything was fine, before Death Shadow aggro came out.
Right?
Who
thought it was crazy?
How retarded is this? Whoa!
Now, okay, so the big thing is, like, if you get your opponent to 1, the main thing you sit there and start thinking about is, like, okay, where did I mess up? At least that's what I do. Every time that I get my opponent down to, like, that 1 or 2 life, and I'm like, how did I not kill you? Where did I mess up that I could have done that 1 extra point of damage there? But Frank was held up on mana.
True.
And he was like, I need to... I mean, the path was so bad. Like, you have to sit there where you can choose not to go for combat with all of your guys and choose to keep it back.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in that sort of situation, that is a line of play that you can do and say, I'll swing in with 2 of my guys. I'll say Nikal comes in and 1 of the experiment 1 goes in. And he's sitting at 2 Infect. And I know there's that whole situation is like you always block when you can. But he's like, you know what? If I swing in with all these, I'm going to do 9 points of damage. And then I'll still have my path left over to help protect myself. She'll be down to 3 life. So basically, if I draw any burn spell, she's dead. Next turn, she's dead. So it's that weird decision-making time now. It's like, if I don't do this, then I'm essentially having her buy an extra turn. Potentially. People talking about the whole path and stuff like that. The other thing is, Julia was not tapped out by any means. She still had all her mana.
True.
Because you'll see a lot of players say, I'll path you on the end steps and do things like that. Like, let them pump a couple of stuff first and then path and do things. So it is a tough one. And so talking about, or you just path end step, that is the thing. But like in that situation, where Julia has her mana untapped, it's really dangerous to go for that path.
It is. And the thing that I'm starting to see more and more is, if you just leave the Infect, like if you play Nan, right? Nan playing Infect, okay? Mm-hmm. Nan gets in for like 1 or 2, unless he knows he tapped out, things are on, and then he'll go for it. But normally he's just like, I'll just get you for 1, right? So if you just kind of hang back, you just have to wait. But because if you try to go for it, then they're like, all right, I wasn't going to kill you, but now I'm going to kill you.
Now you're just asking
you're
for it.
You're forcing my hands. Right.
But this is another thing that Tachonomist is bringing up in chat, is that Frank does not play very much.
True.
He travels around for work and doesn't have as much time to play competitively.
Mm-hmm.
It's now week number 9 for season 2, and this is his first time in 9 weeks that he's been back to the shop to play.
Yeah.
Like 2 months he has not played, at least at our shop.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, he was prepared with Malira. So,
yes,
that seems a little rude, but
then again, it's like, if with all the hate that he has in his sideboard, maybe it's because those little nuance plays of not keeping that extra guy back to block.
Mm-hmm.
And like just the little stuff that maybe he just needs to tighten up. And it's
Flame
good.
more.
It's good to have this discussion going. Not necessarily like that the zoo player is dumb or an idiot. It's more of like we're here to educate and learn.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to make the best plays starting off.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully by sitting here and talking about it, we can see, okay, what are the different plays they could have done? How else could they have done this better, maybe? And then so they learn for next time. You guys at home learn for next time.
There you go.
All that kind of good stuff. So that is round 2. Julia ends up taking it. 2-0 there. So
2-0.
let's take a gander at our round.